I just shot the 6.5 PRC. I just shot the 300 PRC.
Yep.
And the new Ruger stuff. It's phenomenal. I've been competing with the 6 Creedmoor. Shot 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean, I don't know. Geez, I love them
So,
all. I can't have
well,
enough.
you can have one favorite. Is it
Honest,
just the one that you have? Is that really what it is?
It's probably the one that I'm shooting in that match
Yeah.
at that moment. That's my favorite, and then move on.
Do you get a lot of time? Like, because I always wonder this. Because do you get a lot of time with the caliber or the gun that you're currently shooting? I mean, is there like ample time to sit there and get comfortable with it, or are you always kind of transitioning?
You know, it's kind of gotten a little worse lately, just with, everybody thinks that, okay, you're a shooter, all you do is, show up with a truckload of ammo and just stand at the range and shoot every day. And that'd be great, but that's not the business. That's not what it is. I mean, I'm doing trade shows and I've got my TV show, so we're filming that, doing other events, consulting, demos. I mean, there's just always something else going on. And actually, that's, for me, it's tough because years ago, it was, life was a little simpler. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all these other.
You didn't have to do all this stuff.
Yeah, well, you didn't have all that going on. So, when you kind of blocked away some time on your calendar to get ready for a match, you might have 3 weeks or a month or 2 weeks, whatever it was. It was set in stone, and you were good to go. Now, I look at my calendar and it's just, okay, I've got this time allotted, and then, I get called. You need me here to do this. Those 2 days are gone. Oh, okay, these 3 days are gone. And then it's like, it's very stressful because I still, I'm a shooting athlete. I want to compete. I want to be, and I want to win.
Well, yeah.
And when you want, you have that mix, it's not automatic. You don't just show up with your gun and your ammo and you're going to shoot at the, highest level. You've got to train. You've got to prepare. Your guns, everything's got to be ready to go.
Well, how often are you actually training? Like, I mean, is it just when you get time, or about how many hours a week are you putting in on the training range?
I mean, it varies. Right now, after this show ends, I'll have, roughly 2.5 weeks or so before Bianchi Cup. So I'll probably start getting into more of a consistent regimen. I'll probably shoot 2 days, take a day off, 2 days, or something similar to that. It won't be every day. And I go over. I've got my own range. So I'll go shoot 200 to 300 rounds and just work on stuff that I want to get better at. And, I don't kill myself. I don't shoot too much because you can shoot too much. I mean, you can, for me, I want to peak at the right time. I don't want to be, by the time the match comes around, kind of burn out and tired of doing it. I want to be still excited, still trying to shoot a little bit better, be hungry for it.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm sitting here with Doug Koenig, and he's probably got 99 problems, but shooting is not one of them. We're just kind of sitting here chatting about a little bit about training and kind of what he goes through. But really, I mean, kind of the big news for you in the past, year and a half has been Ruger and the custom shop. And so what do you guys got right here? And I know you had a big hand in it.
I did. Well, starting with Ruger, starting with them last year, very excited to be captain of the shooting team and building that team. There's other shooting teams and other scenarios, but there's only a couple shooters on it, and the whole goal here from Ruger is, hey, we're going to go full in and support the shooting sports. We want not just a couple shooters. We want a group of shooters. We want the best shooters. We want juniors. We want ladies. We want an eclectic group that shoot everything. So that was the focus. So I'm excited to be part of that. And then on top of that was the custom shop. And then the shooting team will help, promote and shoot the custom shop products. And the first, gun out for me was really exciting. Was the 1911, the Koenig, Koenig 1911. It's a 9mm 1911. And I worked with them closely on speccing out things that are important to me. I wanted them to put together a gun that I'll shoot. And I really compete with. People are like, well, is that the exact gun? And this gun I shoot. I shot at the Nationals last year. Shot at Steel Challenge. I mean, it's everything on it that.
Well, and this gun actually, what I love about it is it's as close to custom as you're going to get without putting that price tag on it.
Absolutely.
And one of the cool things that Ruger actually does is I know a lot of folks say, well, no one really listens to the customer anymore, but that's not the case with the Ruger custom shop. Customers actually had a hand in developing this gun too.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm a customer.
Right.
I'm a gun guy. I mean, this is what I do for a living, so I know what the consumer's looking for. I know, how something needs to be put together. The slide, I tell them all the time, slide to frame fit. That thing
Yeah.
should be tight, should feel like it's on a set of ball bearings. That's how they are.
Yep.
Hand fit, barrel fit, target barrel, target crown, adjustable sights, a good trigger. Hello.
Yes.
I mean, really? How many
That's
guns
where
have
it has to start.
garbage triggers on them? I'm like, you can't shoot if the trigger stinks. So
Right.
we've got full machine parts. They're my hammer and sear disconnector in the gun. And, it's a shooter.
Oh,
I
yeah.
promise you, every one I've shot, well, for me, at 25 yards, I'm pounding an inch and a half group, offhand.
And what I enjoy about it is actually makes me a better shooter. Because self-admittedly, I'm not that big a pistol guy. But when I pick that gun up, it feels good in hand. There's a good weight to it, and like I can get on target quickly with it.
Absolutely.
And
Well, when we were at Range Day at SHOT Show this year, it was so windy. I don't know if you're out there. It was so windy.
Yes.
All our close targets blew over, and we had some steel targets at 100 yards, and customers would come up and they want to shoot. And they're like, "Oh, you don't have anything to shoot?" I'm like, "It's 100 yards. Just go ahead. Just try it and see what happens." And you'd be amazed at how good a group and how many of them actually hit the target.
And no sane person typically would go, "Yeah, 100 yards with a pistol. I'm gonna be ringing that steel." No sane person would really do that.
Right, but they were hitting it, and so, people just love the gun.
Yeah.
It's a great fit, great feel, low recoil, 9mm. You can get ammo and ammunition anywhere.
And it just feels right. I mean, the magwell, 5-inch slide. I mean, everything seems to work with this. And what are the next steps? How do you guys improve upon a product that honestly is really helping the guys shoot better and actually compete right out of the box?
Well, I'm looking at hopefully, down the road we've got an optics ready version of this pistol, to shoot in IDPA. They've got a carry optics division. And then just, to expand on other lines that we have. I mean, obviously we've got a couple of the 1022s already in the custom shop. Fantastic rifles. It's a machine billet receiver. Match barrel. They shoot. They'll shoot an inch at 100 yards. I mean, the gun is, again, everything out of the custom shop is premium parts, hand fitted.
I think that's the big deal. Is it's hand fitted. A guy's back in the back going, "Oh, it's almost right. It's almost right. Now it's right."
It's exactly right. That's what the customer wants, and yet it's not $4,000 on this gun in particular. They can get it for under $2,000, and it's a custom gun. And I tell anybody, just go handle one, and if you get a chance to shoot it, go shoot it, and I promise you,
you're going to be shooting it a lot. So what are some of the little maintenance tips that you can give guys that are running these competitions and they're running their guns regularly? What is kind of your maintenance schedule like on these?
See, I'm not always
You're
the
different.
best. I'm not always the best. I typically shoot them till they stop working because they get really dirty, and I don't want to say I'm lazy that way, but there's so much going on, and when I'm training, and then it's time. Typically I have my Otis kit in my shooting bag and my ripcord, and I'll keep the board clean, and I'll run it through when I'm done. Keep things oiled up, and that's kind of my regimen until they get really dirty, and then it's a full strip down.
Okay.
I mean, complete strip down, and part of that too, I want to see what the limit is of the gun. If I shoot 200 rounds and then clean it, and 100 and clean it, well, matches you got to shoot 200 or 300 rounds.
Right.
So how do I know the gun's going to go to that? So I'll typically shoot a couple thousand rounds, and then I strip them apart, really run it, then clean it, and then inspect everything.
Right.
Look at the extractor, look at the hammer, look at the sear, look at the fit or where the bushing is around the barrel. All these things I look at then as part of my maintenance protocol. Whether is everything good? Is there any cracked? Is there anything worn out?
Right.
Because it's a machine. Stuff wears out, right?
Well, you guys are also, I mean, not only running these guns hard, the development of these guns, you guys put them through some pretty stiff training. I mean, you're really getting them right before they go out.
Oh yeah, I mean they're all test fired, and I say test fired before the customer gets it. They're test fired, but in the prototyping of the guns, it's not like we go shoot 200 rounds. And go, yeah, here we go. We're bringing it out. I mean, these things go through tens of thousands of rounds to make sure they can withstand it. Now, reality is, 99.9% of the people will probably never shoot, 1,000 rounds through a gun, but this thing, anything that we're doing will withstand that. I mean, not just our custom shop guns, but our other guns are torture tested.
That new Security 9 Compact, I mean, that thing runs like a champ.
Exactly.
Like, I was surprised because we kept running ammo through it, and all different kinds. And that's what you guys are doing to these guns, to really test them and really get them through their paces.
Exactly. I mean, it's, we want to build rugged, reliable firearms and have the best product, for the consumer.
Yeah.
That's how you get repeat customers.
Yeah.
Build great stuff at an affordable price.
Yeah. Okay. Give us what's your show's name? Give it to us.
It's Doug Koenig's championship season, and it's on Pursuit Channel.
Okay, on Pursuit Channel. Now, okay, Doug's a bow hunter, and I love Doug for that, because I'm a bow hunter at heart too. And do you know? Okay, so talking about training and guys getting out on the range and how many rounds should they fire, what their practice regimen should look like. I guess it was who was it? Someone went out and they just fire one shot every day. Like, I mean, that was it. He didn't do anything else, because that's how you're training. So what type of training do you recommend for these guys getting into these competition? I think it was actually Fred Bear.
Okay.
Who would do that? He would go out one shot, because he's got one shot, and as a bow hunter, you've got one shot.
In a hunting scenario, or if somebody was going to, self-defense, that's probably a legitimate scenario. Go out and draw and fire one shot at a target at 10 yards and stuff like that. But in competition side, it's muscle memory, and that stuff goes away if you don't train it. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and shoot 10,000 rounds a week, but handle your firearm, dry fire, do things like that. Work on the equipment. Just be familiar with what you got. When I tell people, do a class, I mean, I tell them, do all your holster setup, do your dry firing, do all that stuff at home. So when you get an hour at the range, you can actually shoot. What a novel idea! Instead of standing there loading mags or fiddling with your gear, and they shoot for 15 minutes. I'm like, well, that seems kind of dumb to me. I mean,
it's counterproductive.
Well, you don't get to shoot. So get all your gear together, get everything together at home. In the competition side, where we're allowed to use adjustable holsters, set your holster position, get all that right, dry fire for 10-15 minutes a day, be comfortable with your gear, and when you get to the range, now you can actually work on your shooting skills.
Right.
And that makes you a better shooter.
I mean, it makes it practice for what you're going to do.
Absolutely right. And again, when I talk about concealed carry or something like that, that one shot, draw, if they want to do that, but at that point, it should be after they've really worked on their draw, so that they're comfortable with it, depending what clothes they're wearing. Or, again, it's all about being familiar with your equipment.
Yeah.
So
well, that's it. That's all we got to do. I mean, that's straight from the man himself, Doug Koenig. Go check his show out, guys. And Bianchi Cup coming up.
It's coming up in about 2.5 weeks.
I mean, are you ready?
I'm not ready yet, but I will be ready. I'll be ready to go and see what happens and give it my best effort.
Well, hopefully it'll be number 19 for Mr. Doug Koenig. Gun Talk Live will be back here in a little bit.